When I said, oh, I wanted to do business, they were like, but can you get a job after college? There's not as much support for the humanities studies as opposed to being a doctor or being an engineer. Hi.
Hi, I'm
How are
Sweeney.
you? I'm Gabe.
Well, I am in marketing. I'm currently the marketing and business development manager at Plaza West Covina. So I'm sort of like in commercial real estate and retail. I've been in this industry going on 13 years.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm a third year communications and cognitive science. But then so a lot of my marketing like interests and passion kind of comes out of extracurriculars. So like different clubs. As a first generation immigrant, I feel like there's a lot more pressure. Even if my parents don't explicitly say it, I feel like there's a lot more pressure for me to be successful right out of college or even before college, to just show to my parents that, hey, I am able to do this, and that because of what you did, this is what I can do. The balance is the greatest thing that you can do for yourself. And if I knew that when I was younger, I think I'd be in the same place, because I feel like I would, still be as ambitious, but I think I would be in a more fulfilled place because I'm satisfying both parts of myself.
You know what I said when they asked me that? Like, I'm nothing because I'm perfect. No, but in reality though, like I can relate to everything you said, because I could tell you're an overachiever too. And so was I. And these pressures are the type of pressure we put on ourselves. Like when I had the chance to go to a university, because it was going to be a full ride scholarship, my mom was like, why? Get your CNA license. I'm like, huh? No, yeah. They feel helpless if they don't understand what you're doing. So it's like they want you to go into a field they understand so they can help you.
I definitely agree to that. And I'm really glad you brought that up, because both of my parents are in STEM related fields. So my mom is a nurse and my dad is an engineer. And when I was younger, there was a lot of pressure to be in either of those two fields. And I can't really fault them for that, because that is what worked for them. And that's how they became successful. That's how they immigrated here. And so I can see why they would want me to do that, because they want me to be as successful or even more successful than them. And then when I said, oh, I wanted to do business or try to do marketing or advertising, they were like, but can you get a job after college? Very common thing in all the Filipino spaces in the universities, that there's not as much support for the humanities side of studies as opposed to with the more STEM side, like being a doctor or being an engineer. I do know there's a lot of people who are interested in business, but then there's not a lot of representation. Yeah. And their parents kind of push back on them and say, well, since there isn't a lot of people who do that, maybe you should do healthcare instead. Something like that.
You kind of just gave me an epiphany.
I would think that college is very frightening because there's not a lot of people who look like me or who look like my family or know of my culture and my traditions. I'm from the southern Philippines, Mindanao, and I feel that, I do want people who are the same as me, just so I can feel as immersed in my hometown as I am here.
Well, first of all, I'm first generation too. I moved here 1999. I'm actually from the Visayas region, and I know you're from Mindanao. So I do speak Ilonggo, which has similarities with Visayas. But now, as I'm into my field, and I think like currently in the landscape we're in, where the Filipinos are trending, now I'm having a different type of appreciation finding that community. The college I went to was predominantly white. It did not seem like an issue being a minority. As a matter of fact, I felt like it was an advantage because it was a way to stand out and a way to access more resources.
How did you kind of find those resources and scholarships that you mentioned? Because I didn't really know about them growing up.
I was lucky enough, like one of my best friends in college, and she's African American. She got connected with a recruiter for Washington State University. He was also in charge with multicultural student union. So when he approached her, she brought me along.
I didn't really think that those things like that kind of existed for us in this kind of area, but that's really interesting to hear.
So I think the difficult part of pursuing my major is what about marketing I'm really interested in, because there is so many practices in marketing. You could go into analytics, you could go into advertising, you could go into research. So I think that I majored in marketing, but I worked at Macy's. It was very retail driven. It didn't feel like it had really anything to do with marketing at first. But eventually, while in that position, once I got more comfortable, then I was able to expand and kind of get to know the marketing department. And I think it's okay to explore what it is that you like, because someone who wants to do events, and that's marketing too, might not like to do analytics, because all you do is look at data and report, and that might be too tedious or too boring for you, right? So it's like two polar opposites, but all in the same field.
I really liked what you said about the different, sides of marketing. So UCLA does not have a marketing major, and that means that a lot of my marketing knowledge and what I've learned about marketing has not come from any of my courses or has not come from any professors. A lot of it has been very much self-study on my own or joining extracurriculars that are geared towards marketing.
Maybe part of the reason why UCLA doesn't have marketing, because they might have, I'm like, I'd be interested to find out why, but they might have figured out that it's so broad that they'd rather you in communications. I think going to college introduced you to the ideas and principles, the ways you could discipline yourself, because of course you go to class, you do the work, you turn in your work, like that type of discipline, and one of the things that you'd have to really look closer to is, what are you good at? What are you passionate about? Sometimes those are two different things, and that's totally okay. It's like, I'm really good at creating things. What I'm passionate about is really community work. So I use that to create programs in my job now that eventually give back to the community. So I do a lot of community events. So that's how I kind of tie it. But that took years to figure out. So you have time.
I feel like it's kind of scary, like that fear of failure is always there. So it's hard for me to like kind of think that, oh shoot, I might get this wrong in, my job, but I can use this experience to do better in a later job or a later role. So
number one, when you go into a position, it's either a new position or someone left that position. There's nothing else you can do but make it better. So that's one, because you are going to put your own flair into it. You're going to put your experience into it. And there's a reason why they hired you for that job. So the only way you'd fail is if you stop showing up. So as long as you show up every day, there's like really no reason to fail. You cannot make it worse. So just tell yourself that, and then save yourself a lot of stress.
Okay, I love that mentality.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
My fears when I was at Gabe's age, am I making the right choices? I sort of majored in marketing without a real passion in it. Just kind of like, it makes sense. Like I explained earlier, there's a variety of career choices within marketing. So I thought there's probably very little chance I won't be without a job. So like, I'm just gonna major in it and hope it all works out. And it did.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I guess for me, my fear of post-grad, especially since there is sort of a recession going on right now in the United States. I mean, I applied for marketing positions, advertising sales positions. For one company that I applied for, I made it all the way to the final round. I was waiting for my results. I got an email back and it said, oh, the company's hiring processes have all stopped or paused because of the recession. And I'm just scared because first, COVID already affected the end of my high school career. I didn't get a graduation, things like that. And now this recession is threatening to affect the end of my college career.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit scared as to like, what am I gonna do afterwards? And I don't want my parents to be like, oh, you should have picked a more stable kind of industry. But then I'm starting to learn now just from talking to people that sometimes it doesn't happen right away, and that's totally okay.
Part of my career also happened through recession, 2008, 2009. I worked for Macy's. They laid everyone off. I moved to California without a job or any really direction. I can always find clients who need social media help, who needs marketing help. Those small businesses, they don't know what they're doing with marketing because they're so busy with operations side of their business. I've already been talking to different classes, marketing classes in colleges like Cal State Dominguez Hills, Cal State Long Beach. That this conversation just kind of reignited that purpose to keep on doing that, because which person in the audience I'd inspire and keep, having them, keep doing what they're doing in the field that they're in, especially if it's a non-traditional major for Asian Americans or just Filipinos in general as well. So
I think for me, I was also very inspired like you, but I was more inspired by the fact that I'm getting the chance to talk one-on-one with a Filipino and, like you said, a non-traditional role, learning how you're able to push through it, even against the odds, I would say, especially with things like the recession and being a minority. And now I have sort of a goal to look to, because I mean, from everything you're doing, it's really interesting to me. And like, if you believe that things will go well, then things will happen the way they do. Being able to share what I've been thinking with you, who's gone through it in the past, has been very fulfilling and like enlightening for me.
Yeah.
These conversations are never easy, and neither is going to college as an Asian Pacific American student. This is why we partnered with McDonald's APA Next program to bring together parents and students and share resources that most APA students need to pursue an education. From college admissions info to scholarship programs to even mental health resources, APA Next has compiled information for students to use. Go visit apanext.com or click the link below to access these resources, and go make your parents and yourselves proud with what you can accomplish. Thanks for watching.